What's up guys, my name is Andy. It's that time of year again where I want to get the car out for one last drive before the winter weather takes over. We've got gorgeous weather this weekend, so I want to get out, go for a spin, and while we're out there we could talk about the parts and pieces and stuff that I've done to this car over the last year and see where we're at with everything. After I did one of these videos last year, I upgraded the power steering in my car, and with the Mike Meyer Mod 1 power steering kit, and I have been incredibly happy with it. But that's not how it started. I have power steering in all my other cars except for this one and my F100, but so I'm used to power steering and I like it and I would rather have it. But in this car, I felt like if I added power steering, it would take away from the rawness of the car, the feel of the car, the being connected to the car, and I didn't want to give that up. And I just mistakenly assumed that having manual steering would allow me to be more connected, closer with the car. And so I never really sought out a power steering kit or anything on this car because I wanted it to keep it real, right? Well, talking to Mike Meyer about his power steering kit, he was explaining the benefits of it, and one of the things that you do with manual steering is you fight it a little bit. You're fighting the wheel. You're spending time putting energy into that instead of focusing on your driving, paying attention to the things you need to focus on. And he was saying that the power steering obviously will eliminate that fight, and which is not surprising. I mean, all my other cars, it's just like that. So I went ahead and bought his kit from him, and I installed it, and ever since then, I just wish I would have done this sooner. I get to focus on listening to the car, feeling the road, paying attention to what I'm doing instead of, holding the steering wheel around the corners and just fighting that. So for the power steering, installing this thing was incredibly easy. What I went from the stock steering box in these cars is a 19:1 ratio, at least the one that was in my car, and that one from Mike Meyer, that Borgeson style power steering gearbox that he uses is a 14:1, so it's a much quicker ratio. And so what it means is it less turns from lock to lock, right? So I don't have to turn the wheel as much to get the car to do what I want it to do. So I'll put that steering box in, and then he uses a KRC power steering pump. Fantastic little pump. It's a nice little small unit that bolts on the front of the engine just like any other power steering pump, but it's not a big, bulky, clunky unit. It's a nice little aluminum unit, and then the lines are perfect fit for it. Was just a nice install, easy install. It looks great in my engine bay, and I don't want to drive without it now. In fact, on a side note, on my F100 that I'm building, I'm going to be doing power steering in that because I don't want to do manual steering anymore. I just like this stuff. So anyways, that was something I had just done after that last video, but I didn't get a chance to drive the car that winter because it was in the winter time, and so I've had this year to drive it, and I'm just completely convinced that I should have done power steering a long time ago. So the package tray is something that I added also in this last year, and in the 4 years that I've had this car, I think I've had somebody sit back there, I know once for sure, my son, maybe twice. I just don't ever use the rear seat, so I wanted to get rid of it, get rid of some of the weight, so I put in one of those rear package trays, and the only thing that I would change is maybe adding some of the grip tape or something on there, just so it's not so slick. It's a slick surface, so stuff can slide around. I don't put a lot of stuff back there, but I don't want stuff to move around, so that would be the only thing I would change about that package tray. But other than that, the install was easy, the fit is really good, I'm really happy with it. So at the end of the winter, I got an opportunity to get the car back on the dyno. There was a small window of time at the dyno shop here in town that he could fit me in, so I snuck down there real quick. In fact, on the way down there, I was noticing a misfire that I was having, just a real subtle misfire, and I just wondered, hopefully that won't affect anything. So we get on because I want to get a dyno run because I had installed those FPA headers, which are a fantastic header. The fitment, the install was amazing, way better than any other header I've installed on any of my Mustangs. I really recommend those headers. And I wanted to see what power they made. So I snuck in there, got the car strapped up, and we did a dyno run. and we saw a 20 horsepower increase and a 20 foot-pound torque increase over what I had before. That's the only power mod change that I had done since the last dyno run, was putting those headers on. So that's a pretty good increase for an NA motor. I was happy with that. It was 399 wheel horsepower, almost 400. If I would have just had, maybe if I had, you know, that misfire. So when I got home, I found out that the spark plug in cylinder number 1 was fouled up, so I replaced that. The misfire went away. I wonder if maybe if I didn't have that problem, if I could have got to 400 horsepower at the wheels, that would have been awesome. Something I'll have to go back and just see if I can pick up that extra horse. So another change I did on the front of the car was the Mike Meyer Mod 1 front brake kit, the bigger brake kit. So I had the Willwood 4-piston disc brakes in the front, a big upgrade over the stock drum brakes, no doubt about it. But I wanted more braking power for my car, and talking with Mike Meyer again, we wanted to do that front brake upgrade, and I wanted something to really stop this car. Because of the plans that I have for this car down the road, I don't want to rely on those 4-piston calipers, which probably would have done a lot of the work, but those 6-piston calipers, those 13-inch rotors that I got, the much larger 1970 and newer Mustang big pin spindle, all those upgrades makes for a much improved braking and stopping, you know, reduced stopping distance of this car. And particularly with as light as this car is and the sticky tires that I have, I can get this car to stop really fast. And when I get rid of the rear drum brakes, which is coming up down the road, I'll be able to, if I can stop this car and affect the spin of the earth, I go for that. I mean, it's not going to happen, but let's pretend, right? So another upgrade that I did was the electric fans. I had put electric fans on this car a while back, and dual electric fans, because I put in that larger radiator. I got I went up from that 16 to a 24-inch radiator, and the dual fans are fine. They do the job of keeping the car cool, so I don't have any problems there. And part of it is because I used a good brand. Guys, if you're going to be selling electric fans in your cars, you got to stay away from those eBay specials, those no-name fans. The CFM that they claim that they can move is not accurate, and so people have heating problems, cooling problems, because they don't move the air they need to move with those electric fans. You got to get a name brand. They were great, they did the job, except for they were really power hungry. They use a lot of amperage, so much so that I was blowing fuses and melting the wire with those fans. Melting it so bad that the fan would stop working because the whole thing would melt apart. That's a fire hazard in itself, but so I decided to get rid of those and find something else, and I went with some Spal fans, S-P-A-L, I don't know how you pronounce that. They're 13 amp fans, half the amperage. Still do the great job, keep the car nice and cool. I don't have any melting problems, I haven't blown a fuse, and I just wish I would have gone with that to begin with. It's not that I picked a bad brand, I just picked something that was power hungry, and I should have got something that drew less amperage, and I have, and everything's been great. So this summer, I got myself in a position to where I could build myself a shop. You know, we all want space to work in, whether it's just having a garage at all. Some of us don't even have that. I had a 3-car garage, so having that third bay was great for working on my vehicles, but it just wasn't enough space. I've got a couple of projects and, you know, playing the puzzle game, trying to fit stuff in the garage and moving things in and out. I got tired of it, and I just wanted to get a shop. No different than anybody else, we all want a shop, right? But I got myself in a position where I could build one, and I did, and it took the majority of the summer to build that shop. And because of that, I didn't install anything on the car. I didn't really drive the car. I didn't even hardly go to any car shows in my area because I was using all my free time to build that shop. I knew that shop was coming in the spring when I decided to do that, so I kind of banked up a bunch of videos. I had 2 months worth of videos that I had filmed ahead of time because I knew it was going to take at least that to build the shop, and so I didn't want to have to stop work on the shop to film a video of this. And then plus, because I had a shed in my backyard that had all my just extra stuff in it, I had to store that was in the garage, so it was really cluttered and gross in the garage. There was no room for anything. I had to park my truck outside because I was taking up space to park the car and all this stuff. I mean, it just wasn't working well. So I didn't do much during the summer for my car or for anything really. And so I'm glad I got a shop. I got a lift out of it. That's been awesome. I've been using that a couple of times, but you know, that took a big chunk of my year away from working on this car and enjoying the car because I was doing that. I'm not complaining. I didn't get as far as I wanted to this year because I was working on that shop, but I think that was worth the trade. So future plans. What am I doing with this car still? Well, I still have the seats. I've been complaining about not getting to these seats for almost 3 years now. I think I have a set picked out what I want, but they're expensive, and I just keep finding other places that I'd rather put the money. And I'm in the same boat as you guys. I've got a budget to work within, and I just can't buy those seats and everything else I want to do, and so it keeps getting pushed down the list. And so I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, that next year we're going to get the seats installed and I'll have that finally checked off the list. But that's one of the future plans. Also, the front suspension, I'm going to be upgrading that to another level higher than what I'm at with the parts and stuff like that. And then the rear, I've still got that 8-inch Ford rear end and those drum brakes in I got plans to replace all that, but it's taken a while to get all that put together. I've been talking about that for over a year. It's taken that long to get everything in place, stuff that I want to do. I'm waiting for some parts to be made. It's just part of the game. I'm looking for specific stuff, and I just can't have it today. So, plus it's expensive. So, I guess the good part is because it's taken so long, it allows me to save up for it, so I can afford to do that while I'm waiting for the parts to get built and stuff. So, anyways, so I do have some stuff with the suspension of this car and dialing it in even more. The engine, I'd like to put in a little bit hotter cam than what I have. I'm happy with the heads. I'm happy with the intake. I might do something with a different carb, but the engine I'm not going to do as much with that as I'm going to do with the rest of the car, so that's okay. But that's some of the stuff that's still coming with this car. I'm not done yet, but I've kind of wiped out a lot of what we'll call the cheap stuff, and all I have left is the expensive stuff, and I have to wait longer in between part changes and upgrades because it costs so much. You guys know how that goes. So guys, that was just a quick overview of kind of where I've been for the last year. This awesome day out. I'm really enjoying it. I like this mountain road that I'm on. It's a real fun road to drive, and I figured I'd just give a chance to update you guys on some of the stuff that I installed and what I thought about it and where I'm going with it. I get a lot of questions on what I think about part X and part Y, and you know, ask me in the comment sections. I answer everything. I talk to everybody. You know, ask me what I think about this or what I think about that, and I'll give you an answer. And I enjoy that part. I enjoy helping you guys out and passing on, you know, what I learned. Maybe something that I did is not something you want, and that helps you decide the part that you want to get. And that's all good, valuable information. So, anyways, guys, I'm gonna enjoy the rest of this drive. It's a gorgeous day out, and I think I'm gonna go have some fun with this car, and we'll catch you in the next one.